Two teenagers, Julio and Tenoch, live in Mexico and will soon graduate from high school. They don't care about school as much as they do about alcohol, tobacco, and sex. Best friends Julio and Tenoch send their girls on summer vacation to Italy. The girls promise not to get close to anyone, and the guys don't need anything more. Tenoch is the son of an influential politician, so he already has a car in which he takes Julio from the airport. For friends there are no class differences or other prejudices, and they spend all their free time together. Tenoch and his parents are invited to the wedding, which even the president of Mexico will honor with his presence. Julio also wants to attend such a celebration, so Tenoch organizes an invitation for his friend. Arriving there, Tenoch introduces Julio to his cousin Hona, who is disrespectful to teenagers. To avoid being in debt, Julio almost accidentally pushes Hona so he spills a drink on his clothes. Later, the friends meet Hona's wife, 28-year-old pretty Luisa, who arrived from Spain a month ago. Hona will soon be leaving on a business trip, so Luisa, left without her husband, plans to explore the city better and look for work. Friends are interested in more details about Luisa's plans, because in addition to being polite, the girl is probably interested them sexually. Tenoch and Julio learn about Luisa's desire to explore the local beaches this weekend, and the guys come up with an idea. They find the public coast dirty and cramped, so Tenoch and Julio say they usually go to the most remote, beautiful, and unknown beach called Gate of Heaven. In fact, Tenoch once heard this name from a friend, although he personally has no idea where this place is or whether it even exists. Friends invite Luisa to join, but she is distracted by the holiday show and does not have time to answer. Later, Hona goes on a business trip, and in the evening he calls Luisa, who is left at home alone. Hona is very drunk, so he apologizes and admits that he cheated on Luisa, which brings the girl to tears. The next day, she tells Tenoch that she wants to go to the beach with them. Surprised, Tenoch calls a friend and offers to organize this adventure, and Julio laughs and reminds him that the gates of heaven do not exist. An acquaintance of Tenoch claims that he has been there only once, so he doesn't remember the road to the gates of heaven well. It seems like they need to go south, and after 2 elbows on the map on the right hand they will see a dusty road. Friends buy a lot of food and beer, and also replenish their stock of condoms. The weekend comes, and the teenagers and Luisa leave the city by car, in search of that very beach. On the road, Tenoch and Julio learn more about Luisa's life. In Spain, she worked as a dental assistant, although sucking saliva from a patient was never her ultimate dream. Luisa quickly completed the course because she needed money while caring for her sick relative. Luisa has never liked Hona's friends for their ostentatious morality and philosophical conversations, so she usually spends gatherings with them in silence. In turn, Julio and Tenoch tell their stories of adventures and parties, referring to the infallible commandments of a certain brotherhood of astral cowboys, of which the guys are members. They list to Luisa the entire manifesto of the brotherhood, one of the rules of which is that nobody can sleep with a friend's girlfriend. In the evening in a village cafe, Luisa laughs when she learns that the girls of Julio and Tenoch went on vacation to Italy and promised to remain faithful. She questions the confidence of the guys, because in Italy, in her opinion, there are a lot of beautiful men, and this is no secret to anyone. Luisa asks if astral cowboys cheat on their girls, to which Julio and Tenoch answer in the negative and ask the same question. Luisa does not cheat on Hona, but hides from the guys the reason why she agreed to go with them, that is, about her husband's betrayal. The guys rent 2 rooms, wish Luisa good night, and go home, but not for long, because the alcohol has already awakened their lust. In their room, Julio and Tenoch come to the conclusion that the idea to offer a threesome is quite appropriate. They sneak to the windows of the next room to look at Luisa, but immediately run away because, left alone, the girl is crying. In the morning, she confuses the guys because she saw them peeping, and believes that Julio and Tenoch just wanted to masturbate. On the second day of the trip, Luisa suggests intimate topics for communication, and the guys are only happy about it. Luisa learns how monotonous the sexual experience of Julio and Tenoch is, plus their knowledge of the intricacies of foreplay is superficial. Suddenly the radiator boils due to the heat and the car stalls not far from another village. While the car is being repaired by locals, Luisa leaves Hona a voicemail. She says that after his betrayal she wanted to disappear from his life without warning. but still changed her mind. Louisa breaks up with Hannah loudly, so she will never return home. The guys rent 2 rooms and Coolio goes to shower, realizing late that the shampoo was left in Louisa's things. In one towel, Tannock comes to the crying Louisa and she suddenly becomes interested in looking at those very impressive dimensions that were discussed in the car today. In a fit of passion, Tannock and Louisa experience intimacy, but for about 10 seconds, because the teenager is too excited. Coming out of the shower, Coolio finds Tannock and Louisa naked and immediately understands everything, so he goes down to the pool. He becomes offended because he doesn't like to be number 2, and perhaps because of his sympathy for Louisa. Later, Coolio admits that he slept with Tannock's girlfriend and thus, in a sense, evens the score. The indignant Tannock learns from Coolio all the details of the betrayal that the girl committed, and then demands an apology from his friend on his knees. In the morning, the company continues their journey in a repaired car, and Louisa feels the cold between friends who have stopped talking. She believes that she has shaken their relationship with her action yesterday, so she decides to restore balance between friends. Louisa sits on Coolio's lap and begins to undress, which Tannock was not mentally prepared for. He stops the car and goes out to smoke until Coolio and Louisa are finished. After 2 minutes, already dressed, Louisa finds Tannock and asks him not to go crazy, because the guy's dream has come true. She doesn't understand why the friends aren't happy, because that's exactly what they wanted. The company continues to go to the beach, and suddenly Tannock admits to Coolio that he also slept with his girlfriend. The car stops and the friends fight again, and Louisa finally finds out why, which makes her even angrier. She takes her bag and shouts that she will continue to hitchhike, because she is tired of listening to the quarrels of young astral cowboys who violate their own manifesto. And what difference does it make who sleeps with whom if both guys do it so quickly that a girl can miss everything by simply sneezing at the wrong time? Leaving, Louisa advises Coolio and Tannock to have sex with each other, because in her opinion, only this can diversify their sex life. The guys really don't want to be left alone, so they declare a temporary truce and catch up with Louisa to persuade her to return. She agrees, but now the further journey will take place on her terms, namely without quarrels and insults. Also, Louisa will not sleep with guys and demands not to discuss their unfortunate girlfriends. Tannock and Coolio agree. By evening, Louisa begins to doubt the existence of the gates of heaven, so Coolio turns onto the first dusty road that they come across along the way. After driving another hour, the car gets stuck in the sand, but Louisa is already asleep, so the guys decide to stay the night in the car. At dawn, Louisa goes out to look around and sees a beautiful deserted beach nearby that looks like the gates of heaven. The guys are happy about this luck and, together with Louisa, are setting up camp, when suddenly they hear a certain man, with his wife and child. He sails past on a boat, offering his services to prepare delicious food. The company agrees, so the cook and his family join the vacationers, getting to know each other along the way and organizing a bonfire. Louisa pays a lot of attention to the cook's daughter while her mother watches, who concludes that it is time for Louisa to become pregnant, but she only smiles in response. After lunch, the cook offers to show the travelers an even more beautiful beach, and they agree. The cook calls this place the gates of heaven, and the guys happily exchange glances with Louisa, because they kept their promise. In the evening, Louisa and her friends decide to stop at a nearby village, because their temporary camp has been spoiled by wild pigs. While Coolio and Tannock play foosball, Louisa talks to Hannah on the phone. She admits that she was going to break up with him, but did not know how to explain her decision. By his action, Hannah himself helped Louisa, so she says that their relationship is over, after which she hangs up and cries. Later, a fairly drunk company has fun at the bar. Coolio and Tannock forget about their grievances and become best friends again. Louisa is happy because her rules of behavior were able to unite 2 astral cowboys, and now they have no secrets, except the only last one, and Coolio admits that he slept not only with Tannock's girlfriend, but with his mother too. Surprisingly, Tannock is delighted and the friends hug. calling themselves foster brothers. Louisa turns on the jukebox and slowly dances between Coolio and Tannock. Later, once in the room, she caresses the guys at the same time, and while Louisa sank lower, drunken Coolio and Tannock see nothing wrong with kissing each other. In the morning, the guys are packing their things, because the weekend is over and Louisa really likes it here and she will stay for a few more days. Seeing off Coolio and Tannock, she shares wisdom with them. Life is like waves, so they need to be pliable, like the sea. After returning, the friends stop communicating, and a year later they still agree to meet in a cafe. They are discussing their mutual acquaintances and friends when suddenly Tannock remembers Louisa. She suffered from cancer and died a month after their joint trip to the gates of heaven. Louisa knew how much time she had left and did not want to cause pain and suffering to her loved ones. Coolio and Tannock are silent for a long time, honoring the memory of Louisa, the same girl who gave the most vivid impressions, keeping the pain and fear that every minute devours her from the inside. Having agreed to meet again after this conversation, former best friends, Coolio and Tannock will never see each other again.